yous are impersonating public officers. We should be making citizens arrest upon yous as corporate agents impersonating public officers, protecting pedophiles, right? While you run a system that's harming the people. We should be arresting you. It should be. We have the only lawful permit system that's required under tribal law. Your laws are fictitious.
The problem with that,
mate, you're a corporate agent. I should be making a citizen's arrest on you. That's the reality.
the problem.
No. You want to talk about law? We should be arresting you. I'm a tribal lawman, right? I ain't a part of your fictitious world. This is the senior lawman for this continent. For this land here. He holds authority over you and anybody in this corporate entity. I do not want to be harmed, and I don't think anybody else on our tribal estate should be harmed, and they come under his protection and my protection. Being a public officer, you are a private mercenary. That's all you are, okay? And you are threatening to arrest a citizen of this country under fictitious laws that have no validity here, when he stands here under the protection of this sovereign tribal man and our law. I'll tell you what the only law is that exists here, brother. You see that? Do you know what that is? Do you know what that is?
I've got every respect for the gentleman behind me.
The gathering here today has been given permission by one of the most senior lawmen. Oh, here he is. One of the most senior lawmen for the Latakia people, Uncle Jimmy Fiji. So you all stand here under the protection of sovereign tribal law.
Is how did they claim to have taken radical title and sovereignty over a continent in breach of the law of the land and in breach of the Treaty of Westphalia from about 500 years ago? We've actually been to the UN and we've raised a question with the UN that's been asked of the Crown to answer.
Yeah.
And the question is that when Arthur Phillip arrived at Sydney Cove and put his toe in the sand to walk up the beach to make his claim of terra nullius, he became immediately and ipso facto subject to our law. From that point forward, anything he did that was against our law was a breach of the law of the land that he was instructed in his secret orders and commissioned to obey. He was also instructed in those orders that before he occupied any land, he was to negotiate a fair purchase price and purchase the land and wait for it to be vacated before they moved ashore. Those orders were never followed.
We've had a discussion with the inspector, Tony, there. You're under Yuggera law. We're under tribal law, the first law of these lands. You're under protection of the OSTF tribal federations.
We do not recognise the Crown's fraudulent claim over this continent, which in fact, even under their own law, is laughable. When Arthur Phillip arrived at Sydney Cove, he stuck his toe in the sand and he walked up the beach and he stuck a rag on a stick in the sand and claimed to take this land under the doctrine of terra nullius for the King of England. The problem with that is that when he stuck his toe in the sand in my mother's country, he became subject to our law. And our law says that you can't steal our land. You can't take our land unless you have a bloodline connection to it. You don't own it. So at this point in time, the Queen of the Parliament of the United Kingdom, who fraudulently purports to be the Queen of Australia when it suits her, has no claim here because even her own High Court laughed the concept of terra nullius out of the courts in 1993. Their own judges dismissed their claim. They have no claim. The only law that we recognise is the law of the land. Things like the law of gravity that man can't write against. That's law. What these guys bring to the table is nothing but statutes that can be manipulated by the greedy thugs who sit at the trough in parliaments in Canberra, Brisbane, Sydney and the rest of the places. We exposed in the late 80s that the Crown had a plan to turn Australia into 7 cantons or 7 different countries. Anybody who knows anything about the law now knows that Queensland is a separate country to New South Wales. New South Wales is a separate country to Victoria, etc. They have achieved their status of the 7 cantons. The problem they've got is that their status is a paper status. They do not own the land. That's why when Australians think they buy land, they buy what's called a lot in a DP, or the location of title in a deposited plan, which is a mark on a map. That's why Australians are called landholders and not landowners, because the Crown can't sell you what the Crown doesn't own.
We said no. No means no. No contract, no consent. And when we talk about sovereignty, there is only one sovereign in this country. It's not Great Britain. It's not Queen Elizabeth. It's not the Queen of Australia. The only sovereigns are us. And when John Howard said we can't have 2 laws, Well, you know why we can't have two laws? Because there's only one law, Aboriginal law. You want to know what the law is? The real law is here. It walks here. This is the law. The law is in the land. The law doesn't come from man. It's not a written law. We don't acknowledge written law. We acknowledge the law of the land. First in time, first in law. This is the first law here. It walks in a living human being. They've been through that law.
Can I ask you something, man to man?
Yeah.
As a lawman, when he is going to stand with the people? You swore an oath to uphold and protect the people. This corporate system is harming us. You live here. Your children live here. All right? You're a part of us.
Yeah.
Why are you taking the side of a corporate conglomerate that's manipulating this corporate government to harm the people? They're done. Okay? So it's not a government, it's a corporation.
Let's go.
All right,
and
let's
let
go.
everyone know it.
We'll go in and do that.
Thank you.
Daniel?
Yep.
All right.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
If anybody